Okay, guten Abend und jetzt Hanovi Global Network. Good evening, and now it's Hanovi Global Network. Ich bin heute Abend wütend. Ja, ich bin heute Abend wütend. Yes, I am angry, and I'll tell you why I'm angry. I am angry that the Grenadian mass of people, I'm not talking about the youth because youths are more easy to rile up and to get agitated and to believe in new causes, irregardless of what's going on around them. And there's always a following in the youth if you encourage them to rebel against older folks or the generation before them. You can always find a following for that. Couple that with the climate that existed post 2020 in the world, couple that with the mass psychosis of indoctrination by North American media, especially Democrat-leaning media, and then what you had is a recipe for bamboozlement, not just in America, but in Grenada. And that is exactly what happened. And some very tricky young people were able to use that to their advantage. But it's not like they created anything from scratch. It's not like they built a party, right? But it seems like that is a prevalent thing in Grenada. That many people, as we just saw recently, try to hijack parties because it's too difficult to do the groundwork and to start your own party from scratch. So, a so-called set of nation builders, was able strategically to infiltrate a pre-made party and was able to use that party to elevate themselves from nation builders to really what they are, which is pocket fillers. They were able to use that institution, and they don't pay any homage to that party. Do they understand the work that went into building that party? Do they pay homage to men like George Brizan, who arduously work to build that party? Do they pay homage to all the people that did the groundwork for decades to build that party? Do they know about a Joan Purcell? Do they know about even the people who change over, the Kenny Lyle Sings? Do they know about Dr. Alexis? Do they respect all the people that struggled to build that party? But instead, they are enjoying the fruits and labor of these people who work so intensively to bring that party to what it is today. Now that's a problem. And the problem is that people who inherit things never take care of those things because they didn't understand, they didn't go through the struggle to build those things. It's always like parents having problems with some of their kids. You know, even the scriptures talk about it. In one generation, there is wealth. Things are built. People work and they create things. And in the next generation, it is gone. Okay? So the people who didn't work to build that party, all of a sudden, is inheriting the fruits and labors of those that came before them. And the problem with people like that, I'll tell you the problem. because they have not done the groundwork, because they have not done hard work, they don't appreciate the value of hard work. So what you have happening is that these people come in to something that, was created on the backs of others, and they'll be so avaricious. They don't want to maintain what is there, but they'll be so avaricious that they'll just take, and they'll just take. So I have come to realize, and remember, I don't really know. I have been told by people who know that so-called nation builders who cunningly work their way into the NDC party are now allegedly using their newfound power to enrich themselves. Well, I'll tell you. You want to talk about nation builders? I will tell you who are exactly the nation builders and who are the real nation builders. You know what are real nation builders? Not the people that are avaricious to fill their pockets. The nation builders are the men and women of Grenada, who get up every day and go and work. I'm talking about men and women of the civil service. I'm talking about men and women of the police force. I'm talking about men and women in so many other jobs. I'm talking about men and women in the private sector. These are the nation builders of Grenada. The workers of Grenada are the nation builders of Grenada. Because everything that happens, the economic prosperity comes from them. They had taxpayer dollars is what has been building Grenada for the last few decades. But then you have some people masquerading as nation builders, and the aim is to build themselves. Everything that they're doing shows that their aim is to build themselves and to acquire as much as is possible in the least amount of time. And disregarding the regular middle class on whose backs Grenada is built. And the regular poor working man. And as I said, I don't have a problem if you want to reward yourself. You feel that you're entitled to the spoils of Grenada. I don't have a problem. But you cannot disregard men and women at the bottom, who in some respects were deluded and bamboozled into supporting you. And what are they getting for that support? What is their reward? No, these people are just trying to survive. These are people just trying to pay their bills. They're not looking for extras. They're trying to raise their families and raise their kids. Okay? They're not looking for profit. And then you see more delusions and more illusions. You throw a little bit of BRC on the ground, and you throw a little concrete mix, and you parade that all over as this is some sort of magnificent infrastructural public works. And boots on the ground, with a little bit of BRC and some concrete mix. This is something a community can even do for themselves. A community don't even need the state to do that for them. In a day or two, I could mobilize some youth in that same community and have them build that little concrete slab on the ground for their walkway or whatever. But you parade that, some BRC and some concrete mix. And you talk about this like this is some sort of magnificent public works project. Whoa, boots on the ground. But you see, this is a culture of lowered expectation that has been created in our land. This is what people have become used to and have become contented with. So while that little so-called boots on the ground and this, a little BRC and a little concrete mix, then you are significantly enriching yourselves. Significantly. And then you have some of these grown people. Grown people who allow a few millennials and a few Gen Zers to manipulate them and outsmart them and talk about they're praying for them. Oh, we're praying for them. These people don't need your praise. Their gods are materialism and money. That is their gods. You're talking about you're praying for them. Grown people that think would have a little more sense. Talking about they're praying for them. These people don't need your praise. Their God is money and materialism. It's quite clear. It's quite clear. But grown people allow some millennials and some Gen Zers to rile them up and bamboozle them. Now tell me what's wrong with that. So none of this strategy would have worked if they didn't demonize Akeet Mitchell. And as I said, the gentleman is not my, my favorite fan. But I realize, and I'm going to explain how the strategy worked. It's the same thing they tried in the United States of America. And I'm in no way comparing Trump to Akeet Mitchell. But they demonize people to try to get them out of the way, to try to get public opinion against them. And they come now with fancy speeches and sweet talk, as we would say. Rile up the youth, because again, as I said, the youth is always, the youth in any nation is always restless and ready for some sort of, quote unquote, something that riles them up, gets them excited, gets them in a jubilous state. And in that state of intoxication, emotional intoxication, you can sell them anything and they will buy it. It's only after the fact they will realize what has happened. And now they're seeing what is happening. Now they're actually feeling what is happening. But some are still intoxicated by party and dance and singing. And the jubilee of a 50th anniversary. The wine, the dance, the woman, and song. But I don't mind. I'm sympathetic to the youth. They're young. They're joyful. They don't have much responsibility, So I understand that. But you have grown people who should have known better. There are people I personally know who have invested 30, 40 years in the public sector and work their tails off in Grenada. And they turn and tell me, oh, I'm praying for them. There are people I know who extensively work and fell and allowed millennials and Gen Zers to outsmart them and outwit them. You've got to be kidding me. So the bottom line is this. Let's not delude ourselves. Unless you do not see what is happening. Or unless you did not see what happened. This is no nation building. This is illusions. Illusions. And if you don't see what's happening, if you don't realize as soon as it's possible, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Look at your capital city. Look at the maintenance of your capital city. And we're talking about simple changes and simple things that can be done. All the BRC they're thrown on the ground and the little ready mix in all kind of little corner and places. What's happening to St. George's? What has happened to your capital city? Which should be a gem, is an expression of the pride of your state. What's happening to that? What's happening to the fact that a little dry season come the last time and you ran out of water? You're living in an island surrounded by water and you ran out of water and you had to ration water. Tell man, oh, don't wash down your car. Don't do this, don't do that. In this modern world. These are the people that tell you they're so brilliant. What happened that recently, okay, people were dependent on their little barrels, little, small businesses who were dependent on their barrels for, to make a couple of dollars around the Christmas time. That we're so brilliant that we couldn't organize space to have these barrels available to people before Christmas. That we couldn't do that. I received my barrel after Christmas. Luckily, I wasn't dependent on it to make any money. But imagine the amount of broken hearts for the kids, for the women, for people who are dependent on those barrels to have a nice Christmas. Because Christmas is a big thing all over the world, especially in Grenada. People like to have a great time around Christmas. So imagine all the little barrels that, the friends and family or overseas would have sent for them so they could have a bright Christmas. What happened to them? But guess what? I know the pocket fillers. They had a bright Christmas. Boy, oh boy, they had a bright Christmas. They didn't have those worries. They had a bright Christmas. Again. So we're making billions in CBI. Okay? And we obviously know who's making those billions in CBI. And a little flooding come in your country. And your whole country is saturated and overrun with water. And then we're proud to say we're making so much billions in CBI. Billions in CBI. And we run out of water in a dry season. But we're proud to say we're making all these billions. And you know who that affects the most? That's not going to affect the upper middle class or the so-called petty bourgeoisie. It's going to affect the lower middle class and the working man. They're the ones who will feel the brunt of that. But then we say we care, we love middle class, and we love the lower middle class, and we love the regular working man. But I don't know what to say, because this is the same regular working man that would cuss your tail off for these people and say they're praying for them. You don't need your prayers. Don't need your prayers. So the bottom line is this. There should be some more public disclosure and transparency. You have to demand a little more public disclosure and transparency. You have to hold people accountable. And you can't allow them to dangle things in front of you to appease you and not see what is happening. You need clarity. You need clarity. And the same spirit of youthfulness and jubilee and the way the youth was riled up during an election, you have to have the same energy when you demand from politicians what they say they would deliver to you. You can't wait 6 months before another election to come, and then they come back to you and they rile you up again, and you fall for it all over again. And I'm saying that across both aisles. Even the opposition should be held accountable, because they should be questioning the things that have become apparent. They have a job to do. On that note, pass off, Ike off. Take care of yourself. Bisbow. See you soon.